Hello and welcome to Michelle Sews Again. I'm Michelle. If you're new here, then thank you for joining me. This is just my channel where I kind of show you or follow along with my sewing journey as I've returned after a 25+ year hiatus. So thank you for joining me. If you've already subscribed, thank you for coming back. I appreciate it. I am joining the Friday Sews hashtag. That's what today's video is going to be about. I did last week for the first time join, and I did the Get to Know Friday Sews hashtag, which was a lot of fun. I've really been enjoying watching all the other sewing channels that participate in this hashtag and getting to know people, and it seems like a fun concept, so I'm happy to join in, and I appreciate Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room for getting this started. I'll link her channel below. Yeah, so I'll just talk about what I've been up to this week. I was actually on vacation this week, staycation, I guess. I haven't had like a real relaxing vacation in well over a year. So I was happy to have some time off. It coincided with my brother who lives in Chicago. He and his family came down, and they've been down for the week. His significant other, her mother, lives in Pompano Beach, which is about 40 minutes north of me. And she came down because they came down because it was my sister-in-law's 40th birthday recently. And both of her sisters and their families also live out of state. They came in town. So they had like a big to-do for her 40th, and they were here all week. So I took the week off and thought, when they have time to visit me, that'd be great. I haven't seen my brother since my dad passed away last year, and that was like not the most quality time. And then I figured when they're busy, then I'll spend time sewing. So it seemed like a really good idea. And it has been a great week. I just haven't gotten any sewing done. So we had a great visit on Sunday. My sister-in-law's mother rented a two-tier party boat, and we went up the Intracoastal Waterway to Boca Raton for the day and hung out in a sandbar, and then it's like an hour and a half, I want to say, boat ride up, and then another hour and a half back, and we spent, quite a bit of time at the sandbar. So it was such a nice, just chill day out on the boat, drinking, visiting with family. It was just really, really nice. So that was the start of my week. And then Monday, I spent the day kind of cleaning up a little bit. The house wasn't too bad, so I didn't have a lot of cleaning to do. And binge watching YouTube videos, specifically the Frugal Frocks 2021 plan videos, because that's been a really fun hashtag that Sam from Frugalissima and Ruan from the Yorkshire Sew Girl hosted for the month of March. And that was a lot of fun. So I spent a lot of time watching those videos, which was really fun because I got to learn, I got to meet some new sewing new to me sewing channels, and really seeing people's creativity with what they've done with free patterns and fabric in their stash was a lot of fun. From a creative standpoint, the only thing that I did this week was I did pull my Cricut machine out. I haven't used that in quite some time, so that was fun to pull out. I made, like a dummy, I didn't take any photos of the projects that I did. So I will put in pictures of the patterns that I followed, but mine turned out very different because I used paper from my stash and iron-on transfer from my stash. So it didn't look anything like what the patterns look like, other than the pattern, if that makes sense. So I made a thank you card for my sister-in-law's mother for being so gracious as to invite my husband and I to spend the day with their family and include us in the boat ride. It was just such a nice day. So I made a thank you card for her and mailed that off. I made a birthday card for my sister-in-law and a t-shirt. She, last year, I don't know if it was COVID related, just to give herself something to do, or it's something she's always wanted to do. I didn't really ask her what the impetus was for it, but she built a chicken coop from scratch. It's really quite impressive. I'll see if I can find a picture on she's got an Instagram account for the chickens, so I'll see if I can find a picture of the coop. But my brother said I don't think he helped her very much at all. She did it almost all by herself. And she bought 5 or 6 chicks, and you know, they're fully grown now, hens, and they're laying eggs on a daily basis. So, excuse me, she's really enjoying that. So I made her a t-shirt that says Chicken Whisperer with an outline of a chicken in the middle. And I'm pissed that I didn't take a picture of it to share with you guys. Going forward, I'll try and remember any craft related stuff that I make. I'm gonna take pictures of it. Unfortunately, I've given all that away, so I can't even take a picture of it now. Also, what I did, let's see, I have signed myself up to a pretty aggressive plan for April, where I'm gonna do 30 days of sewing hashtags. Mostly challenges. Some of them might not be challenges. They're just gonna be maybe a hashtag that's, you know, a lot of people follow. But it's to keep me busy or to get me in the habit of doing something sewing related every day, because it just brings me joy. It releases stress. It's just good for me. On top of that, I've mentioned before that I'm on a weight loss journey. It's very slow going, which I'm okay with, because I feel like the slower it goes, the more permanent the changes will be, and they'll truly be lifestyle changes. I don't have like a deadline of, you know, when I want to lose weight or anything like that. I just want to be healthy. It's a little bit about how I look. You know, I don't feel cute, but it's more about my health and how comfortable I am. So I have bad knees. I've had a full knee replacement in my right knee, and the weight is, I had lost like 85 pounds before I got that surgery, and I've put it on, not all of it, but I've put quite a bit of it back on. And it's affecting the knee that I had replaced, as well as my other knee that I knew eventually would need to be replaced, but I feel like the weight is accelerating that. So it's mostly for health reasons. I can't walk for great lengths of time. I'm not immobile by any means. Like, I can get around and do errands and, you know, run out and do things with my husband, but I can't do like active things, you know, that take long periods of time walking. And that's unfortunate, especially here in Florida. I mean, there's so many things to do, and I'm just not up for it right now. So the reason I'm talking about that is because I've made a deal with my nutritionist that, you know, from a reward system perspective, that's never really worked for me, because to say that, oh, I can't have this, I'm not going to buy this thing that I want until I reach a certain goal. I've always been, not always, but in the last, you know, decade or so, if I want something and it's not like an outrageous price, I buy it for myself. So it's not like it's a reward for me. It's like, it's more of a punishment that I can't buy it unless I do something. And that's never been enough incentive for me to say, oh, I'm not going to buy it, because I'll just be like, screw that, I'm going to buy it if I want it. But I made a deal with her that I can't sew unless I walk for 20 minutes. So I have to earn my sewing time, essentially. And I love sewing. I'm enjoying the process of improving my skills. And so that's important to me. So is my health. So I'm in a completely different headspace than I've been in the past. And so the not sewing this week hasn't been because I haven't earned it. I have been out walking. But I feel like the 30 days of hashtags will incentivize me to, because I've got that goal in my head, will incentivize me to get up and spend my 20 minutes walking, because I've made some pretty big strides in my eating habits. I haven't had fast food. I've had fast food once in the December, January, February, March, in the 4 months I've been in Florida. That's like, it was a multi-week occurrence before I left Pennsylvania. So I'm definitely making headway on my eating habits. I just haven't gotten the movement down. And so we made a deal that I have to earn my sewing time. So I think that this 30 days of sewing hashtags is going to help me twofold. It'll help me with my sewing, it'll help me improve my techniques, and it will help me get my movement going and become more of a habit than a chore, if that makes sense. Now that I've said that I've got my eating habits moving in the right direction, I'm going to tell you that I did cook for my brother and his family on Wednesday night, and we made it a Mexican food night, and nothing that I made was healthy. And I'll put the recipes for the dip and the dessert that I'm about to talk about below because they were quite yummy. But that's the other thing that I love about my nutritionist. She's all about the 80-20 rule. So, you know, having a meal like this, you know, once a week or once every other week is not a big deal as long as you're incorporating the healthier eating habits the majority of the time. So anyway, I made this, I don't know if you've heard of Mexican street corn. I've heard of it, I've never had it, but it sounded quite interesting. And I found this Mexican street corn dip that I made. It was really easy to make. It was so freaking delicious. Everybody loved it. My sister-in-law wanted the recipe. It's something I will definitely make again. My husband was like super into it. So it's definitely gonna go in the make again pile. And then for dinner, we just had tacos, so nothing special. I, you know, ground meat, a couple of different types of shells and all the fixings. And I kind of had like a Southwest kind of salad to go with it. And then for dessert, I made a churro cheesecake bar, which was really yummy. And that was really easy as well. And we have so much left over. My husband's been eating it every night for dessert. So that was the one unhealthy meal that I made this week. Let's see, what else do I have to share? I have a question for you guys. So I've been thinking about, you know, I've shared before about my work from home module sew along that I'm still working on slowly. I finished my overalls. I made that video. It's going up Sunday. So if you're interested in the Seamwork Beckett overalls and my make and my view of the pattern, then check that out on Sunday. But I have several more pieces that I have left to make. And I've never been one to have a lot of unfinished sewing projects. Knitting, yes, I've got like 10 or 15 projects going that I start and I get bored and I move on to something else. But sewing, I cut the pattern, I cut the fabric, I sew the garment. That's kind of how I operate. So I've never really thought about batch cutting before, but I really don't enjoy the process of cutting the pattern and cutting the fabric. It's my least favorite task when it comes to sewing. So I was thinking about spending a day cutting out all the patterns and all the fabric for my work from home module sew along so that I could just like plow through the sewing. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Pros, cons? Do you do it? Do you not? I'd love to hear your thoughts. So that's probably, I might give that a try the rest of today. I don't know. We'll see. All right. I have a funny question. This is such a rambling video. All right. I have a funny question for you guys. Since COVID started and I had to start working from home, yeah, bras just haven't been a thing for me. I'm not into it. I hate wearing one. They're uncomfortable. I know it's because I've never found one that fits right, but when I find one that fits right, I feel like it pushes my boobs up to my neck and makes it uncomfortable from that perspective. And I haven't been outside a ton. So, in the last couple of months, I've taken to wearing a sports bra when I have to wear one. And it's like, why have I not done this always? so now it's like I wear my sports bras when I go out under my clothes instead of a real bra. It's just a random thought. I don't know. Are you guys like, I'm sorry, I have something in my eye. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on that. Random. All right. And then the last thing that I've spent some time on this week is genealogy. So my dad did his family tree he started it back in the late 70s and worked on it through the 80s and the 90s. And he did the majority of his research before the internet was a thing. So before Ancestry.com, he did it the old-fashioned way. He went to libraries, he went to churches, he went to cemeteries. He did a lot of correspondence with genealogists, and he put together a really impressive family tree. So his mother is Cajun, and she descends from the Cajuns that were exiled out of Nova Scotia and ended up in South Louisiana. And so that side of our family has been in the US, or North America, I should say, since the late 1600s. My dad's father's side, he traced back to the first ancestor that traveled to America from England, and he came over on a ship. I'm going to get the year wrong, but it was in the 1630s. So both sides of my dad's tree have been in North America since the 1600s. When my dad passed away, my siblings are interested in the genealogy, but not to the same degree that I am. And I'm trying to do the same thing for my mom's side as my dad did for his side, so that I have like the complete picture. And it's one of those things where when you get into it, you start going down rabbit holes and you just get like lost in this spiral, and it can really be a time suck, but it's so fascinating. So I started on my mom's side many years ago, and I run into a brick wall, and then I take a break for a long time, and then I get into it again. So anyway, from a what I've done this week perspective, when my dad passed away, I took all of his genealogy stuff. He had drawers and drawers, very well organized, of all the family history stuff, books that he used for research and everything. I boxed all that up. I spent the $350 to mail it to myself. And so I ended up with all of that. Within all of that stuff, he had a little mini cassette recorder that had the little mini cassettes. And there are 3 mini cassettes. I don't know if he had more and they're lost, or are these the only 3 he ever did. And anyway, he interviewed on not video, because audio cassette. He interviewed my grandfather, his dad, and my great aunt, his mother's sister, a couple of times. And so my brother and I spent some time when they were visiting on Wednesday listening to some of those interviews, and it was so nice to hear my dad's voice again, from before he developed Alzheimer's and he wasn't himself anymore, and just hearing my dad, and my great aunt, like, she was so full of life. She was such a character, man. She led an interesting life. So that was the other thing that I spent time doing, which got me reinterested in working on my mom's genealogy. So that is what I've done this week. And wow, it's more than I thought. Yeah, I'm enjoying this Friday Sews. I'm gonna keep doing this, and stay tuned for tomorrow's hashtag. Let's see, what is tomorrow's hashtag? I think it's sew that pattern now is tomorrow's hashtag, which basically means I'm gonna take a pattern from my stash and make it up, one that I've wanted to make and just never got around to. More than likely, it's going to be, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the Emmy top, I think is a seam work that's from my work from home module sew along as well, because it's a top that it's like a really tiny orange and white fabric that I'm gonna make it out of that will go with a lot of stuff in my wardrobe. So I'm anxious to get that made. So I think I'm gonna work on that today and tomorrow so that I can post that video tomorrow and tell you about the pattern. If that sounds interesting to you, then please tune in tomorrow. If you're not already subscribed, I'd love for you to join and subscribe. And if you liked this video, give me a thumbs up so other people can find my content. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thanks so much.